Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam, Trilokyam Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha, Tvameva Vidyadravidam, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvijavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So I think you said we're starting chapter 16.
Yes, that's right.
And Howard's going to read this morning.
Chapter 16, Desirelessness, the Highest Bliss. Questioner, I have met many realized people, but never a liberated man. Have you come across a liberated man, or does liberation mean, among other things, also abandoning the body? Maharaj, what do you
stop there?
Okay.
So, in the tradition, we have these two notions: Jivan Mukta, liberated while living, and Videha Mukta, liberation beyond the body. And this is the conundrum. If all action under all circumstances is caused by desire, desire is caused by vasana, the inherent nature of vasana is ignorance, then anybody who's walking around still has some ignorance. That's one theory. So the only real liberation is after you die. We do not propound that in our tradition. We say the mark of the man or woman of steady wisdom is they know they are Brahman. This is realization. And the vasanas get roasted, meaning they no longer have the power to veil the mind with ignorance. How do you know if your mind is covered with vasana? You think you're a person. And the proclivities get weakened. So this is the conundrum. So the person who's asking the question, when he's talking about a realized person versus a liberated person, it's a false distinction, in my opinion. Let's see what Maharaj says.
Maharaj, What do you mean by realization and liberation? Questioner. By realization, I mean a wonderful experience of peace, goodness, and beauty. When the world makes sense and there is an all-pervading unity of both substance and essence. While such experience does not last, it cannot be forgotten. It shines in the mind, both as memory and longing. I know what I am talking about, for I have had such experiences. By liberation, I mean to be permanently in that wonderful state. What I am asking is whether liberation is compatible with the survival of the body. Maharaj, what is wrong with the body? Questioner, the body is so weak and short-lived. It creates needs and cravings. It limits one grievously. Maharaj, so what? Let the physical expressions be limited. But liberation is of the self from its false and self-imposed ideas. It is not contained in some particular experience, however glorious. Questioner, does it last forever? Maharaj, all experience is time-bound. Whatever has a beginning must have an end. Questioner, so liberation, in my sense of the word, does not exist? Maharaj, on the contrary, one is always free. You are both conscious and free to be conscious. Nobody can take this away from you. Do you ever know yourself non-existing or unconscious? Questioner.
So let me stop there. So the clearest explication of this that I have found comes from Yoga Vasishta, which clearly states both bondage and liberation occur to the mind. The self is ever free. We're actually dealing with two kinds of knowledge. The first knowledge is the real knowledge, the perfect knowledge. And that's the self-evidence of the self. How do you know you were you? You don't see, hear, taste, touch, smell, emote, or think yourself. Yet you know you are. Who knows it? I do. What's the praman, the means of knowledge? Me. What's the thing known? Well, it's not known as a thing. It's me. I know it. I am. The great cosmic joke is everybody already has it. What is bondage then? Nothing more than the deeply rooted conviction in the mind that I'm bound, which manifests as the notion I'm the body or I'm the personality, what Gaudapada calls jiva bhavana, the feeling that I'm a person. It's not just thoughts that go through my head, although sometimes it manifests that way. It's much more like deep, deep hypnotism or like a dream. What is liberation? There is no other liberation than the deeply rooted conviction in the mind. Not that I know Brahman, but that I am Brahman. So we attain chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. Why? So that the mind, the frequency and volume of thought can thin out. Tanu manasaha. And then with the attentive faculty, introverted. Koham, who am I? I see there's no person there. There's just the space, consciousness. Now, we didn't achieve it, we didn't attain it, we didn't become it, we didn't acquire it. The mind has a realization. Oh, that's what I am. Technical term for that is pratyabhijnanam, recognition. It's this aha that occurs in the mind. It's like when we wake up from a dream. The dream seems so real, so vivid. I seem to be so involved in it. Then the alarm goes off and bang! Dream gone. Now I'm the waker. That is a gross shift. But the shift between ego identification, ahankriti, and jnanam, knowledge of my true nature, though profound, incredibly subtle, just a shift. And from the standpoint of the absolute, it's not real. Where does your realization go when you go to sleep? It doesn't mean it's not very useful, because where does the suffering occur? Suffering occurs in my stupid mind. Self doesn't suffer. So let's see what Maharaj says.
Questioner, I may not remember, but that does not disprove my being occasionally unconscious. Maharaj, why not turn away from the experience to the experiencer and realize the full import of the one true statement you can make, I am? Questioner, how is it done?
Okay, let's stop there. So, what is our definition of real? I like to say real with a big capital R. That which is never subject to negation. That which always is. So if it doesn't exist in the beginning and it has a temporary apparent existence in the middle, and then we have prior non-existence, apparent existence for a while, and then subsequent non-existence. Scriptures say that's not reality. What always is. And here what Maharaj is saying is only I always is. And when I begin to see that it's inviolate, nothing's going to harm you ever. Just the knowable continues to change. The knower is kutastha, established, still like a mountain. Going on.
Maharaj, there is no how here. Just keep in mind the feeling I am. Merge in it till your mind and feeling become one. By repeated attempts, you will stumble on the right balance of attention and affection, and your mind will be firmly established in the thought feeling I am. Whatever you think, say, or do, this sense of immutable and affectionate being remains as the ever-present background of the mind. Questioner, and you call it liberation? Maharaj, I call it normal. What is wrong with being, knowing, and acting effortlessly and happily? Why consider it so unusual as to expect the immediate destruction of the body? What is wrong with the body that it should die? Correct your attitude to your body and leave it alone. Don't pamper, don't torture, just keep it going, most of the time below the threshold of conscious attention. Question.
Yes. Just, I call it put the robot on automatic pilot. Don't get caught up in flesh hating. Oh, the terrible body and all its, skin, bone, flesh filled with feces and urine, disgusting, cast it away. Shankara can go there. I take a little bit of issue with that. My favorite metaphor is see the body like a car. Some of us have a BMW, others of us have a Honda Civic. That's product. But what we do, rotate the tires, put fuel in it, change the oil, and like every car, it ends up in the junkyard. But if you don't care for your car, it will start to give you problems. So ideally, care for the body, attend to its needs, so you can forget it. You are not the body, nor of the body. Going on.
Questioner, the memory of my wonderful experiences haunts me. I want them back. Maharaj, because you want them back, you cannot have them. The state of craving for anything blocks all deeper experience.
Yes. The state of craving blocks all deeper experiences. Technical term is kama, craving. And it impels us into kartavya, obligatory action. I must get from point A to point B. That is my suffering in the end. Going on.
Nothing of value can happen to a mind which knows exactly what it wants. For nothing the mind can visualize and want is of much value. Questioner, then what is worth wanting? Maharaj, want the best, the highest happiness, the greatest freedom. Desirelessness is the highest bliss. Questioner,
So what he's saying is we must cultivate the desire to be free from desire.
Questioner, freedom from desire is not the freedom I want. I want the freedom to fulfill my longings. Maharaj, you are free to fulfill your longings. As a matter of fact, you are doing nothing else. Questioner, I try.
So listen, the dharma of the mind is sukham dukham cha. The mind is a pleasure-seeking, pain-avoiding mechanism. That's all we do from the moment you get up in the morning to the moment your head hits the pillow at night, is seek the good by your highest understanding of it and avoid misery. Even if you don't avoid misery and you embrace your suffering, it's because you think it'll do you some good. So what Maharaj is saying, this person wants the freedom to get what he wants. And Maharaj is saying, That's all you're doing anyway. But the student does not understand. One, the more you want it, the more painful it is. Two, whatever it is that you want is inherently temporary. Three, whatever joy I get through an experience is just a taste of my self nature. Vidyaranya has this wonderful term, Brahmananda Rasa Swad. Swad means to taste, rasa means juice. How do I taste the juice of the bliss of the sound? Abandon everything. Going.
Questioner, I try, but there are obstacles which leave me frustrated. Maharaj, overcome them. Questioner, I cannot. I am too weak. Maharaj, what makes you weak? What is weakness? Others fulfill their desires. Why don't you? Questioner, I must be lacking energy. Maharaj, what happened to your energy? Where did it go? Did you not scatter it over so many contradictory desires and pursuits? You don't have an infinite supply of energy. Questioner, why not? Maharaj, your arms are small and low. They do not call for more. Only God's energy is infinite because he wants nothing for himself. Be like him and all your desires will be fulfilled. The higher, oh, I'm sorry, the first part is your aims are small and low, not your arms. They do not call for more. Only God's energy is infinite because he wants nothing for himself. Be like him and all your desires will be fulfilled. The higher your aims and vaster your desires, the more energy you will have for fulfillment. Desire the good of all, and the universe will work with you. But if you want your own pleasure, you must earn it in the hard way. Before desiring, deserve. Questioner, I am engaged in the study of philosophy, sociology, and education. I think more mental development is needed before I can dream of self-realization. Am I on the right track? Maharaj, to earn a livelihood, some specialized knowledge is needed. General knowledge develops the mind, no doubt. But if you are going to spend your life in amassing knowledge, you build a wall around yourself. To go beyond the mind, a well-furnished mind is not needed. Then what, questioner, then what is needed? Maharaj, distrust your mind and go beyond. Questioner, what?
Let's stop there. What he's talking about are those people who have what the scriptures call Shastra Vasana. The exoteric meaning is unnecessary study of the scriptures. Those who think it's figure-outable. And what Maharaj is saying, well, let's use Shankara. Shankara says, without knowledge of the self, study of the scriptures is futile. With knowledge of the self, study of the scriptures is futile. You've become an Upanishad. And why do we have the scriptures? Why are they part of the tradition? They are a pramana. They're a means of knowledge by which a teacher can communicate with the student. The Rasetu, a bridge. That's their purpose. It is achintyam. It's unthinkable, unfigureoutable. Alakshana. You can't infer it from all your study. Now, we will not realize the self by thinking, but through study, we can remove the ideas that stand in the way. So Sunday night in Gita class, I asked the question, does Atman mean? And one of my students said, the soul. Do you have a soul? Is a soul a possession? Of course, you know me. I held up the water glass and I said, who sees the water glass? I do. That's yourself. Now let's start with what's real. You are you. So wrong ideas can get in the way. But it's not about acquiring better ideas in the end. Going on.
It can't just studying scripture just be for pleasure.
Certainly, it's a great worldly pleasure.
Yeah. Okay.
But so is watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a little worldly pleasure for the scholar. That's what the scriptures say. You go up to Cal Berkeley in the South Asian department, filled with people who are, absolute scholars of various historical things. They may know a whole lot about Ramayana, but also about Shakuntala, a drama. But none of that will free you in the end. Swamiji used to say you only really need two scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Vivekachudamani. That is everything you need. Why do we keep studying all these other scriptures? Because we're slow and we need to be reminded. So in the pravachana, the teaching, talking about it with one another, we get reminded. Is that useful?
Yes.
All right, going on.
Questioner, what shall I find beyond the mind? Maharaj, the direct experience of being, knowing and loving. Questioner, how does one go beyond the mind? Maharaj, there are many starting points. They all lead to the same goal. You may begin with selfless work, abandoning the fruits of action. You may then give up thinking and end in giving up all desires. Here, giving up tyaga is the operational factor.
So tyaga means abandonment, literally. Letting everything go. My favorite example is if you see a toddler, they're engrossed with toys, and then all of a sudden something else distracts them and they crawl over and play with something else. What's their relationship with the toys that they were previously playing with? Gone. Or the youngster with a tricycle that they really love, and then they get a two-wheeled bicycle. What happens to their attention and affection with a tricycle? Gone. So this abandonment, this tyaga, this is what we need to do. Swami Tapovanam, Chinmaya's guru, when he first arrived in the Himalayas, back in those days, this was the late 19th century, because he was Kshatriya, he wasn't permitted to take sannyas. But there's a tradition of giving yourself sannyas. So he took the name Tyagananda, the bliss of abandonment. And later, as the rules of the ashramas loosened a bit, he finally did take formal diksha and took the name Tapovanam, a forest of austerities. Going on.
Or you may not bother about anything you want or think or do and just stay put in the thought and feeling I am, focusing I am firmly in your mind. All kinds of experience may come to you. Remain unmoved in the knowledge that all perceivable is transient and only the I am endures.
Yes.
Questioner, I cannot give all my life to such practices. I have my duties to attend to. Maharaj, by all means, attend to your duties. Action in which you are not emotionally involved and which is beneficial and does not cause suffering will not bind you. You may be engaged in several directions and work with enormous zest, yet remain inwardly free and quiet with a mirror-like mind, which reflects all without being affected.
So the kinds of actions that bind us are all rooted in the notion, I'll be happy when. More, better, different. As yogis, even maintenance of the body is not possible without action. Unless you're a trust fund kid or you've gone to the Himalayas and taken sannyas, you're going to probably have to have a job. Maybe you're retired, don't have to work. But there are always duties. But you know if your duties are governed by preference, gee, I'd like to go to the symphony this week, or compulsion, I must have it this way in order to be okay. That's what we need to let go. Any thoughts? Going on.
Questioner, is such a state realizable? Maharaj, I would not talk about it if it were not. Why should I engage in fancies? Questioner, everybody quotes scriptures. Maharaj, those who know only scriptures know nothing. To know is to be. I know what I am talking about. It is not from reading or hearsay. Questioner, I am studying Sanskrit under a professor, but really I am only reading scriptures. I am in search of self-realization and I came to get the needed guidance. Kindly tell me what I am to do. Maharaj, since you have read scriptures, why do you ask me? Questioner, the scriptures show the general direction, but the individual needs personal instructions. Maharaj, your own self is your ultimate teacher, Sadguru. The outer teacher, Guru, is merely a milestone. It is only your inner teacher that will walk with you to the goal, for he is the goal. Questioner, the inner teacher is not easily reached. Maharaj, since he is in you and with you, the difficulty cannot be serious. Look within and you will find him. Questioner, when I look within, I find sensations and perceptions, thoughts and feelings, desires and fears, memories and expectations. I am immersed in this cloud and see nothing else. Maharaj, that which sees all this and the nothing too is the inner teacher. He alone is. All else only appears to be. He is your own self, Swarupa, your hope and assurance of freedom. Find him and cling to him, and you will be saved and safe. Questioner, I do believe you, but when it comes to the actual finding of this inner self, I find it escapes me.
Let me stop there for a second. The self may be difficult to realize, not because it's far away. So this fellow was looking for this transcendental like experience that he may have had at an earlier time. The self can be difficult to realize, listen carefully, because it's so ordinary. It's profoundly ordinary. It's so here and so present that we ignore it. It's like when you ask someone, are you breathing deeply? Or are you breathing shallowly? What do you have to do? Well, you bring your mind to the breath, and I guess I'm breathing okay. But weren't you breathing before someone drew your attention to it? You don't breathe, you die. But most of us pay no attention to it most of the time. Back in the 70s, they used to have these, they used to call them samadhi tanks, sensory deprivation tanks. You go inside, it's pitch black, you're in water that's salt water at 98.6, you can't hear anything. One of the things you experience is you can hear your heartbeat. Heart's always beating, but there's so much other extraneous sensation and noise, we don't pay attention to it. So it is with yourself. It's always there. Once you get the sense of it, once you grasp it, when are you ever not you? It's the most present dimension of your experience, always. And always the same. Shines as I, without any taint, without any qualities. So peaceful, so empty. Don't believe me? Look. Going on.
Maharaj, the idea, it escapes me, where does it arise? Questioner, in the mind. Maharaj, and who knows the mind? Questioner, the witness of the mind knows the mind. Maharaj, did anybody come to you and say, I am the witness of your mind? Questioner, of course not. It would have been just another idea in the mind. Maharaj, then who is the witness? Questioner, I am. Maharaj, so you know the witness because you are the witness. You need not see the witness in front of you. Here again, to be is to know. Questioner, yes, I see that I am the witness, the awareness self itself. But in which way does it profit me? Maharaj, what a question. What kind of profit do you expect? To know what you are, is it not good enough? Questioner, what are the uses of self-knowledge? Maharaj, it helps you to understand what you are not and keeps you free from false ideas, desires, and actions. Questioner, if I am the witness only, what do right and wrong matter? Maharaj, what helps you to know yourself is right. What prevents is wrong. To know one's real self is bliss. To forget is sorrow. Questioner, is the witness consciousness the real self? Maharaj, it is the reflection of the real in the mind, buddhi. The real is beyond the witness. The real is beyond. The witness is the door through which you pass beyond. Questioner, what is the purpose of meditation? Maharaj, seeing the false as false is meditation. This must go on all the time. Questioner, we are told to meditate regularly. Maharaj, deliberate daily exercise in discrimination between the true and the false, and the renunciation of the false is meditation.
Oh, that's so important. So what he's saying again is what Shankara talks about in his qualifications of a fit student. Viveka Vairagya Cha. What is Viveka? That firm conviction in the intellect that Brahman alone is real and the phenomenal world is unreal, is discrimination. The self is real. All things knowable, cognizable, are unreal, transient, mithya, illusory. What do I do with that? Vairagya, that desire to give up attachment to all experiences gained through the senses. You cannot give up the experiences. There's always experience, even if you sit very still. You experience the breath, you experience sensations in the body. Eventually, you're going to have to go pee. It's the attachment, the sangraha, that's problematic. And giving up all false notions of self. The bija vasana, the root attachment, is I think I'm the body. When in fact the body is always an object of cognition. I'm not feeling well today, Jim. No. You are just fine. You know the body with its aches and pains. When the aches and pains subside, you know health in the body. You are other than the body. And you're not your job. You're not your family. That's just ideas. Next one, going on.
Questioner, please tell me which road to self-realization is the shortest. Maharaj, no way is short or long, but some people are more in earnest and some are less. I can tell you about myself. I was a simple man, but I trusted my guru. When he told me to do, but what he told me to do, I did. He told me to concentrate on I am. I did. He told me that I am beyond all perceivables and conceivables. I believed. I gave him my heart and soul, my entire attention, and the whole of my spare time. I had to work to keep my family alive. As a result of faith and earnest application, I realized myself, Swarupa, within 3 years. You may choose any way that suits you. Your earnestness will determine the rate of your progress. Questioner, no hint for me? Maharaj, establish yourself firmly in the awareness of I am. This is the beginning and also the end of the endeavor. End of chapter.
So I like to say self-realization is not difficult, but it's very rare. And it's rare because nobody wants it. It involves being earnest and steadfast. This is the essence of mumukshutva, the burning desire for liberation. It's the engine. But most of us would rather have drugs, sex, and rock and roll. And that pulls the mind into the world. Prarabdha, it's just our karma. But it doesn't take long. It doesn't take a high IQ. You don't have to know Sanskrit. All you have to do is want it. That's all it takes. All right, any other questions? Let's go on to the next chapter.
Chapter 17, the ever-present. Questioner, the highest powers of the mind are understanding, intelligence, and insight. Man has 3 bodies, the physical, the mental, and the causal, prana, mana, and karana. The physical reflects this being. The mental is knowing, and the causal is joyous creativity.
Karana is causal. Comes from the same root kri, to make or to do. Gross body, subtle body, causal body is what he's basically saying. Going on.
Of course, these are all forms of in consciousness, but they appear to be separate with qualities of their own. Intelligence, buddhi, is the reflection in the mind of the power to know, chit. It is what makes the mind knowledgeable. The brighter the intelligence, the wider, deeper, and truer the knowledge. To know things, to know people, and to know oneself are all functions of intelligence. The last is the most important and contains the former too. Misunderstanding oneself and the world leads to false ideas and desires, which again lead to bondage. Right understanding of oneself is necessary for freedom from the bondage of illusion.
So this is the questioner, right?
This is the questioner.
So he's obviously done quite a bit of scriptural study.
I understand all this in theory, but when it comes to practice, I find that I fail hopelessly in my responses to situations and people and by my inappropriate reactions. I merely add to my bondage. Life is too quick for my dull and slow mind. I do understand, but too late, when the old mistakes have been already repeated. Maharaj, What then is your problem? Questioner, I need a response to life, not only intelligent, but also very quick. It cannot be quick unless it is perfectly spontaneous. How can I achieve such spontaneity? Maharaj, the mirror can do nothing to attract the sun. It can only keep bright. As soon as the mind is ready, the sun shines in it. Questioner, the light is of the self or of the mind? Questioner, both. It is uncaused and unvarying by itself and colored by the mind as it moves and changes. It is very much like a cinema. The light is not in the film, but the film colors the light and makes it appear to move by intercepting it. Questioner, are you now in the perfect state? Maharaj, perfection is a state of the mind when it is pure. I am beyond the mind, whatever its state, pure or impure. Awareness is my nature. Ultimately, I am beyond being and non-being.
So in Gita, Krishna will say, be you vigunaihi, be you beyond the gunas. Okay, I'm ever the witness of the mind, beyond the mind. And then he says, and ever remain in the sattvic state. Well, make up your mind, Krishna. Am I to be beyond the gunas or am I to be sattvic? Yes. So yourself is ever beyond any mind state. What should you have any concern with the mind state? Why do I have tamasic and rajasic mind states though? Because of ignorance and attachment. Let go of the ignorance. Let go of the attachment. And the mind becomes sattvic. Why should I want a sattvic mind state? Because the sattvic mind is the happiest mind. So simple. I call it the cosmic teeter-totter. The greater my attachments, the greater my control issues, the greater my struggle, the less my peace and serenity. The more I let go, the more I surrender, the more I fall into the peace. The greater my bliss, the greater my joy. You choose. So simple. It's an old Christian song, let go and let God have his wonderful way. It's very good Vedanta. Going on.
Questioner, will meditation help me to reach your state? Maharaj, meditation will help you to find your bonds, loosen them, untie them, and cast your moorings. When you are no longer attached to anything, you have done your share. The rest will be done for you. Questioner, by whom? Maharaj, by the same power that brought you so far, that prompted your heart to desire truth and your mind to seek it. It is the same power that keeps you alive. You may call it life or the supreme. Questioner, the same power kills me in due course. Maharaj, were you not present at your birth? Will you not be present at your death? Find him who is always present, and your problem of spontaneous problem of spontaneous and perfect response will be solved. Questioner, realization of the eternal and an effortless and adequate response to the ever-changing temporary event are two different and separate questions. You seem to roll them into one. What makes you do so? Maharaj, to realize the eternal is to become the eternal, the whole, the universe, with all it contains. Every event is the effect and the expression of the whole, and is in fundamental harmony with the whole. All response from the whole must be right, effortless, and instantaneous. It cannot be otherwise if it is not right. Delayed response is wrong response. Thought, feeling, and action must be one and simultaneous with a situation that calls for them. Questioner, how does it come? Maharaj, I told you already. Find him who was present at your birth and will witness your death. Questioner, my father and mother? Maharaj, yes, your father, mother, the source from which you came. To solve a problem, you must trace it to the source. Only in the dissolution of the problem, in the universal solvence of inquiry and dispassion, can its right solution be found. End of chapter.
Any thoughts or questions? Are you guys still there online?
Yeah, just
Okay,
silent.
let's go on.
Chapter 18. To know what you are, find what you are not. Questioner, your way of describing the universe as consisting of matter, mind, and spirit is one of the many. There are other patterns to which the universe is expected to conform, and one is at a loss to know which pattern is true and which is not. One ends in suspecting that all patterns are only verbal and that no pattern can contain reality. According to you, reality consists of three expanses: the expanse of matter energy, Mahadakash, the expanse of consciousness, Chidakash, and of pure spirit, Paramakash. The first is something that was both movement and inertia that we perceive. We also know that we perceive we are conscious and are also aware of being conscious. Thus, we have two: matter, energy, and consciousness. Matter seems to be in space, while energy is always in time, being connected with change and measured by the rate of change. Consciousness seems to be somehow here and now in a single point of time and space. But you seem to suggest that consciousness too is universal, which makes it timeless, spaceless, and impersonal. I can somehow understand that there is no contradiction between the timeless and spaceless and the here and now, but impersonal consciousness I cannot fathom. To me, consciousness is always focalized, centered, individualized, a person. You seem to say that there can be perceiving without a perceiver, knowing without a knower, loving without a lover, acting without an actor. I feel that the trinity of knowing, knower, and known can be seen in every movement of life. Consciousness implies a conscious being, an object of consciousness, and the fact of being conscious. That which is conscious I call a person. A person lives in the world, is a part of it, affects it, and is affected by it. Maharaj, why don't you inquire how real are the world and the person? Questioner, oh no, I need not inquire. Enough if the person is not less real than the world in which the person exists. Maharaj, then what is the question? Questioner, are persons real and universals conceptual, or are universals real and persons imaginary? Maharaj, neither are real. Questioner, surely I am real enough to merit your reply, and I am a person. Maharaj, not when asleep. Questioner, submergence is not absence, even though asleep I am. Maharaj, to be a person, you must be subconscious. Are you so always? Questioner, not when I sleep, of course, nor when I am in a swoon or drugged. Maharaj, during your waking hours, are you continually self-conscious? Questioner, no. Sometimes I am absent-minded or just absorbed. Maharaj, are you a person during the gaps in self-conscious? Questioner, of course I am the same person throughout. I remember myself as I was yesterday and yesteryear. Definitely I am the same person. Maharaj, so to be a person, you need memory? Questioner, of course. Maharaj, and without memory, what are you? Questioner, incomplete memory entails incomplete personality. Without memory, I cannot exist as a person. Maharaj, surely you can exist without memory. You do so in sleep. Questioner, only in the sense of remaining alive, not as a person. Maharaj, since you admit that as a person you have only intermittent existence, can you tell me what you are in the intervals in between experiencing yourself as a person? Questioner, I am, but not as a person. Since I am not conscious of myself in the intervals, I can only say that I exist, but not as a person. Maharaj, what shall we call it, impersonal existence? Questioner, I would call it rather unconscious existence. I am, but I do not know that I am. Maharaj, you have said just now, I am, but I do not know that I am. But I do not know that I am. Could you possibly say it about your being in an unconscious state? Questioner, no, I could not. Maharaj, you can only describe it in the past tense. I did not know. I was unconscious in the sense of not remembering. Questioner, having been unconscious, how could I remember and what? Maharaj, were you really unconscious, or do you just not remember? Questioner, how am I to make out? Maharaj, consider, do you remember every second of yesterday? Questioner, of course not. Maharaj, were you then unconscious? Questioner, of course not. Maharaj, so you are conscious, and yet you do not remember. Questioner, yes. Maharaj, maybe you are conscious in sleep and just do not remember.
So let me make this a lot simpler. The mind is folded up in its unmanifest form in deep sleep and swoon and anesthetic. You are still there because when you return from sleep, you can say, oh, I slept so soundly, I can't remember a thing. So to me, the clearest way to see the difference is something as simple as look around the room and notice the objects. Now close your eyes. You are not blind. You are seeing the back of your eyelids, which occlude your capacity to see objects. Open your eyes. Nothing changed with your eyeballs. only the shutter of your eyelids came down and then went back up. That's all unconsciousness is. The shutter of the unmanifest comes down. You are there knowing. You can't think in that state because the mind is not active. I can prove it another way. Howard, did I sleep soundly last night?
I don't know.
Why not?
Well, because I wasn't in bed with you. Because I wasn't here.
Yeah. You can only remember something you've experienced. Yeah. Remember her and the experiencer of the same entity. The fact that you can remember that you knew nothing indicates someone was there to know that you did not know. Self, mind, waking state, dream state, folded up in deep sleep. Now watch carefully, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And the mind goes, oh my gosh, there's nobody there. That's what happens. In the waking state, with the complete cessation of all vimarsha, movement, what remains? Swamiji used to say, when the last thought is thoughted, before the next thought starts thoughting. Who are you? And in the mind, there's this flash of insight. Oh, nothing there. Yet I am. Okay, it's time to quit. What verse or where are we? What page? Where yada
Well,
yada yada?
Well, we're on page 58 in my book, which is not.
Is there much more in this chapter?
There's no. Well, there's 2 pages.
We'll do it next time.
Okay.
All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari